Okay, so I feel like I needed to make this video because I don't feel like I'm really in the loop with what's going on to do with the latest Call of Duties. Modern Warfare 2, of course, being the latest one, but I actually haven't played this game since November, since it came out. I deleted it off my console from my hard drive about, I think it was like 2-3 at max a month after the game came out. So I've got the PS5, I don't have any extended hard drive, I can only keep a limited number of games on my console. So as new games came out, I had to delete some ones, and you would think, being a Call of Duty YouTuber, one of the games I wouldn't delete off the console was the latest COD, Modern Warfare 2, but it was actually one of the first ones I ever deleted because I just didn't play it. I played it for a week or two after it came out, and I didn't enjoy it. If you saw the videos that I make on this channel, which are mainly zombies content, you might think, well, okay, that's kind of understandable because it is Treyarch that focuses on zombies. There is no zombies mode in this year's Call of Duty, so perhaps it's just not my thing, but normally I would have a similar amount of playing time on zombies and multiplayer. In fact, you could probably say I play multiplayer more than I do zombies. Modern Warfare 2019, I know a lot of people hated it. For some reason, I loved it. I had Damascus camo, loads of playing time on MP. I played a little bit of Cold War's multiplayer, a lot of the zombies, so I never deleted that game off my console. For COD Vanguard, I didn't like the multiplayer, and I really just played the zombies to see what was going on, even though it wasn't great, but I still kept it on my console, I didn't delete it. But with Modern Warfare 2, well, there is no zombies. Spec Ops is trash and something that's completely outdated. I don't get the point of DMZ. Warzone is free, not that I play it anymore anyway. Yes, the campaign is good, but that's something you complete once and then never touch again. So the only reason for you to have Modern Warfare 2 downloaded is for the multiplayer, and I just didn't like it, which is really weird because I love the Modern Warfare series when it comes to MP, but for this latest one, it isn't enjoyable. I couldn't get into it, and I couldn't give you one exact point as to what it is I don't like, whether it's the maps as a part of it, the guns, there's nothing really new there. There are some gameplay changes I don't like, such as the minimap, the movement doesn't feel as smooth, the changes to the perk system. It was just such an average to bad game that for the first time ever, I deleted it 2 or 3 weeks after buying it, and I haven't felt the need to download it again. I haven't wanted to play it, I have no reason to. It feels like a total waste of a COD game, and Modern Warfare 2 feels even more irrelevant to me because, well, if I want to play the latest content that comes out for COD, there is Warzone for that. It's separate to Modern Warfare 2. To me, it doesn't feel like we've had a new Call of Duty game for about 2 years. I would say since Black Ops Cold War. These past 2 games, in my opinion, could have just not released at all because we wouldn't have missed anything. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because, well, like I said, I don't really keep up to date with what's going on with Modern Warfare 2 anyway, just because I don't care about it. So I couldn't tell you if what's been going on with that game lately has been good or bad, whether Activision and Infinity Ward have made some changes to the game since launch and people are loving it now. But what I can see from Twitter is that isn't the case, because ever since this game's launch, but especially over the past week or so, I've been seeing stuff like this. Call of Duty is losing. Tweets like this. I'll be the one to say it how it is. Call of Duty, you used to be the head of the game. You were the go-to game for me in my childhood. At least back then you knew how to carry a game and a franchise. But now all you care about is money, not gameplay. You failed. I am playing Fortnite on my streams and having more fun. You are worth billions. It's embarrassing. There was so much you could have done, but you didn't. It's sad that you chose the shareholders over the players, and more so Treyarch, that's at you. Your lead developers in their field left, and nothing you have done since then has been of substantial value. The custom mod community has added more value to the franchise than you have in the last 5 years. It's a joke. Pull your damn finger out. Somebody replied saying you say this as if it's new. COD died several years ago. Peaked at COD 4, maybe Modern Warfare 2. I don't quite think that one's true. Black Ops 2 was a great game. Black Ops 3, a lot of people loved the MP on that. The zombies was also great. So the peak of COD definitely wasn't COD 4 or Modern Warfare 2. JDM replied saying, Call of Duty, get your shit together. And besides from these, there are tons of videos that people have made over the past week or so, or months. Tons of tweets, tons of replies to these. Pretty much agreeing with this, that Call of Duty is in a bad state, and this isn't new. This is something that's been going on for a few years now, and we all know when this happened, there was a shift in mentality, not only at Activision, but through their developers, Infinity Ward, Treyarch, Sledgehammer, etc. I don't even need to say it because we all know when that shift happened and the focus in Call of Duty went from making fun games that were community driven to making games that were pretty much purely for profit. And of course, that's always going to be the case. They are businesses, they want to make money, that's fine, but it feels like they used to have both fun and profit in mind, whereas now it's purely profit. how can we make the most money? And when did that shift happen, in my opinion? When this system came in that we have right now of free content in terms of free maps, free weapons, DLC being free, which is the guys they want to use, but of course in return, nothing's free because they're earning more money than ever through the battle pass or bundles, microtransactions, and Warzone. Microtransactions have always been a thing in COD. Remember the play to win days, kind of, when you would get weapons through loot boxes that you couldn't get in game, or if you could, they were really difficult to obtain. Or the early days, COD 4, Black Ops 1, 2, 3, etc., when you would have to pay for DLC or the, what was it called in Black Ops 4, the bonus pass, was it? But the days where you would have to pay for map packs compared to now where it's all free. Yes, that's great. Everybody wants stuff for free, but I hate saying this because I know there's always the argument, well, it's free, so how can you complain? But looking back on it, it's so obvious that when we paid for this content that we now get for free, it was so much of a more higher quality. Paid maps compared to free maps, not only were we getting more of them, but they were of a higher quality because, well, I don't know, I don't work there, but I'm guessing a part of it was because if you've got a paying customer, which we were, you've got to make sure that you please them, you've got to make sure that you give them a good product, you've got to make sure that you put the hard work in and make something good because people are paying for this stuff. Whereas if you give something to people for free, well, it doesn't have to be a higher quality. Back in the older days, which sounds weird because it wasn't that long ago, but a few years ago, developers could charge people £50 and say, this is everything that you're going to be getting, and you knew that. But what they can do now, or what it seems like, is they can say, all of this is going to be free, but we might not give it to you. Whether we do or whether we don't, well, it's free. You can't really complain about it. It is difficult to complain about something when it's free, and I hate saying this because it does sound self-entitled, or maybe that's not the right word. It sounds backwards, but as with a lot of things in life, sometimes you pay for better quality things. And I have to ask the question to myself, would I rather pay for Call of Duty maps if it meant we get a set amount of them that's guaranteed and the quality is higher? Because ever since they've taken this route of, and I think it's actually a little bit of a trick what they've done here, but ever since they've made DLC maps free, for example, the quality of them has gone downhill, but they're smart people. There's a reason they've made maps free, and that's because they actually earn more money now than what they used to. You think by releasing free content, they'd earn less money, but actually it's the total opposite. Releasing content for free means more people want to play it, they want to check out the latest thing, if it's there for them to access, and the more people you have playing your game, the more chances of them buying bundles and the battle pass, and that's exactly what's happened. They earn so much more money now than what they used to, and funnily enough, the quality has dropped, and that just shows me where their priorities lie. And it can't all just come down to Activision, it is mainly them, but I'm sorry, it's the developers as well. There are many other things that come into play, time restraints, certain developers such as Treyarch having to work on other developers' games, like a small portion of their team worked on Vanguard Zombies and a small portion of their team is working on multiplayer for Modern Warfare 2. I think it's the competitive side, so there are some excuses, but I think even the developers just talking about Treyarch specifically and Zombies, I think Treyarch have lost their way a little bit on that as well. Just looking at the styles and formula that built up COD Zombies, and then their past couple of products, Vanguard, Cold War. There are good aspects about both games, okay, perhaps not Vanguard. That one's a bit of an anomaly, but Cold War, BO4 you can put into this as well. I think those two games, Treyarch kind of lost or forgot what made COD Zombies and went in a more, well, different direction. And that's of course something you can do, I always say. These are the developers' ideas, these are their games. But when you've got a player base and a fan base that loves something, straying away from a successful formula, what made Zombies as a whole, or breaking each part of it down, the storyline, the Easter eggs, the gameplay, the maps. I get you want to experiment, but sometimes you can go too far and start to ruin it. I made a video just the other day talking about Treyarch's multiplayer maps, how if you look at the maps in BO1, 2, 3, even 4 when content was paid for, and then you look at the multiplayer maps that we've had from Treyarch lately in Cold War, that's their latest one, the difference in atmosphere, ambience, colour, funness of maps isn't there in their latest product. The same goes for Infinity Ward's games. Look at Modern Warfare 2019 or Modern Warfare 2, and then their older games, COD 4, Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. I think one of the main focuses that COD has lost is funness, especially looking at Warzone 2 and what they're trying to do. It seems like they're trying to take COD down this more realism route when COD's always been known as this fun, fast-paced arcade simulator. The realism was always left to Battlefield or Medal of Honor. The reason why COD blew up and what made it so successful was because this was a fun, arcade simulator, where now they're trying to take it more down the slower paced realism route, and it just honestly isn't for me. Maybe it is for other people, but realism just isn't my idea of fun when it comes to FPS games. There are other genres that fits, and by the way, I should say realism fits campaigns for FPS games, but when it comes to multiplayer, I just want to play something that's fun. And the other thing I haven't said is, I think Warzone, even though it's been a great thing for Call of Duty, has ruined multiplayer. All of the developers' focus has now been taken away from multiplayer, and it's 100% on Warzone, so if you don't play Warzone, if you liked MP, well, you can forget about it now. The core elements of what made Call of Duty in the beginning, multiplayer, I think the campaign's still fine, and then the third game mode, whether it be zombies, extinction, the focus of COD is Warzone. It doesn't matter what game it is, what series, the Black Ops series, the Modern Warfare series, it doesn't matter if it's zombies or extinction or Spec Ops, all of this comes as second priority to Warzone. And it's even more frustrating because COD isn't going anywhere, it's still a massive game, it still rakes in billions a year, it's still one of the highest played games, the most interactions, the most views, the most talked about. So you'd think with all of this, the amount of money they have, there are 3,000 plus developers working on COD through all of these studios and modes, with that many people and that much profit being raked in, how can a game end up like this? And the only answer I have is their focus went from making money, but also making a fun product, to purely pleasing the shareholders and making as much profit as you can. Because perhaps what they've realised is, and this is our fault, they can release whatever COD game they want each year, no matter how shit it is, no matter how much people say they hate it online, we're still going to buy it. And we're still going to make it the #1 selling game every single year. And that's down to us. We've been saying for years and years, COD's awful, I'm not going to buy it this year. But then when November comes around, what do? We all buy it, and we feed into this cycle of paying for crap or average games just because of its title, just because it's called Call of Duty. And that's down to us. If we actually took our own advice and didn't buy COD every year, maybe things would change. And there is proof of that, because if we look at Vanguard last year, how awful that did, changes did happen because Treyarch had their game delayed by a whole year. I think if Vanguard did well, that never would have happened, and Treyarch's game would have been due to come out this year in 2023. I think a big reason for that is because Vanguard didn't do well in terms of revenue. Well, not compared to Call of Duty expectations anyway. So we have to take some of the blame for paying for things that we know full and well probably aren't going to be good. But at the end of the day, it comes down to Activision and the developers. I truly do think the one thing they've forgotten is the whole idea of a video game is for the player base to have fun. That's it. I think that's the #1 thing. In my opinion, that was something that they had in mind since the beginning of this franchise, all the way up until Call of Duty 2019, I would say. Maybe Black Ops 4, when they changed from having quality paid DLC to making it free. I do think that they thought they were doing the right thing, the good thing. If you look at other games, Fortnite, who works off a similar model, it can be a good thing, but it seems like greed has taken over. There are games that do this perfectly, releasing free content but also making it fun, whereas Call of Duty, past Modern Warfare 2019, when they realised how much money they can rake in off this, they release free content, but they do it purely for profit, not to give us something we'll enjoy, but to trick us, make it seem like they're doing the right thing, but they don't care. So yeah, there we go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Hopefully you've enjoyed. I'd be really interested to see what you guys think about this. Drop a like rating, make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest content on the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.